What could possibly make an entire nation hold its breath? Press conference shock. Yoona, with unwavering resolve, gripped Lee Jun-ho's hand and delivered words that left everyone stunned. Stay with red carpet revealed as we uncover every detail of this unforgettable moment, right now. The air in the Grand Seoul Convention Hall felt heavy, charged with an invisible current that made even seasoned journalists shift in their seats. Cameras were already raised, red recording lights blinking, ready to catch every twitch, every breath, every glance. Outside, the crowd of fans pressed against the barricade swelled by the minute, their voices occasionally spilling in through the half-closed glass doors. The tension was almost unbearable, not just because Yoona and Lee Jun-ho were appearing together in public, but because no one really knew why they had called this press conference. When the side door finally opened, the sound of clicking shutters became a deafening storm. Yoona stepped out first, her posture tall but her eyes betraying a swirl of emotions, nervousness, determination, and something softer, almost fragile. Lee Jun-ho followed closely behind, wearing a perfectly tailored black suit, his expression calm but his gaze fixed straight ahead as if afraid to waver. The instant they reached the center stage, it happened. Her hand reached for his. Not a casual touch, not a polite clasp of two co-stars promoting a project, but a firm, deliberate grip that said we're in this together. Gasps rippled through the room. The press, always hungry for signals, knew this was no accident. Yoona's fingers tightened around his, and for a brief second, he glanced at her, not just to check in, but to silently communicate something. She gave the smallest nod in return. It was a wordless exchange, kind that sends an entire nation into speculation. Why hold hands so openly, so purposefully, in a setting this formal? And what was the statement they were about to make that needed such visible solidarity? The mixed voice trembled slightly as he introduced them, his eyes darting between the two like he knew what was coming and dreaded it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Yoona and Lee Jun-ho have an announcement, and then, preamble, he stepped back, leaving the stage entirely to them. Yoona took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the crowd before settling on the first row of cameras. The microphone felt almost too loud when she spoke, her voice softer than usual but clear. Thank you for coming here on such short notice. Her gaze flicked to Lee Jun-ho, and that's when her voice wavered, not from fear, but from the enormity of what she was about to say. The air in the room shifted, reporters leaned in, their fingers poised over keyboards. The past few weeks had been a whirlwind. Rumors had circulated, some claiming a romantic revelation, others predicting a joint departure from the entertainment industry, and still others whispering about a scandal no one dared to put in print. Neither Yoona nor Lee Jun-ho had addressed any of it. Instead, they had chosen this moment, this stage, to deliver their truth in front of the nation's eyes. Lee Jun-ho adjusted the microphone stand slightly before speaking. His voice was steady, but his other hand never let go of hers. We know many of you have questions. We've heard the speculation, and we understand why today may come as a shock. He paused. Silence stretched so taut it could snap. Yoona squeezed his hand, a visible gesture of encouragement. In the back of the room, a journalist whispered to her colleague. Feels different. This isn't just a PR stunt. Was right. Everything, from the solemnity in their expressions to the near-sacred stillness between their words, pointed to revelation far beyond a simple entertainment headline. They began to speak, alternating between each other, their voices weaving a narrative that pulled everyone deeper into the moment. Talked about a journey that began long before the public noticed. A partnership forged in quiet struggles and silent victories. They described private moments that shaped their decision to stand here today, side by side. As Yoona spoke about the nights they stayed up until dawn debating their future, Lee Jun-ho's eyes glistened, not with the polish of an actor hitting his mark, but with the raw honesty of someone finally unburdening himself. The cameras clicked relentlessly, yet neither of them flinched. It was as if the presence of the press no longer mattered. This was about telling the truth before it was twisted by others. And then Yoona's voice cracked. There's something I need to say directly to the people who've supported us, and to those who may not understand. She looked down for a moment, collecting herself. Jun-ho leaned closer, his shoulder brushing hers, and whispered something only she could hear. She smiled faintly, almost imperceptibly, and lifted her head again. Spoke next. Her tone had changed, firmer, resolute. We have decided, she stopped. The room collectively leaned forward. To share with you something that has been a part of our lives for longer than you think. Her eyes locked onto the nearest camera lens, speaking to millions through that single point of glass. By now, the hall was silent except for the low hum of recording equipment. No one shifted in their seats. No one cleared their throat. Even the air felt suspended, waiting for the moment to drop. But instead of finishing her sentence, Yoona glanced again at Lee Jun-ho. He gave a single, almost imperceptible nod. And with that, she took another deep breath, preparing to cross the point of no return. That was when the tears came, not in a dramatic flood, but in small, unstoppable drops that traced down her cheeks. They caught in the stage lights, glistening like proof of the weight she carried. Lee Jun-ho's thumb brushed gently across her knuckles, his grip still strong. And then, she began to speak again. What followed over the next several minutes would ignite debates, headlines, and emotional outpourings across the country. Kind of moment that would be replayed endlessly on television, dissected in online forums, remembered years later as the day Yoona and Lee Jun-ho changed the conversation. Their words were deliberate, with meaning, yet tinged with vulnerability that made even the most cynical journalist hesitate before typing their next line. By the time they stepped away from the podium, the press room was no longer just an audience, it was a witness. Witness to an unguarded display of unity, to truth that could no longer be hidden, to a handhold that spoke volumes without a single word. They walked out together the way they had walked in, side by side, fingers intertwined, ignoring the chaos of shouted questions and flashing lights. Outside, the night air hit them like a baptism. The crowd, who had been watching through live streams and giant screens, erupted into a mix of cheers and cries. Hashtags surged to the top of social media. Yoona, Lee Jun-ho shock, nation stunned. Press conference truth. Some fans clutched banners to their chests, wept openly, and still others simply stood in stunned silence. Somewhere, beyond the headlines and the frenzy, two of them exhaled, finally, fully, knowing that whatever came next, they had faced it together. The nation had been stunned, yes, but more than that, it had been reminded of the raw power of truth delivered hand in hand. As the press conference hall emptied and the echo of camera shutters faded into the night, the story of Yoona and Lee Jun-ho lingered like the scent of rain on warm pavement, impossible to ignore, unforgettable in its impact. In homes across the country, families were still gathered around their televisions, playing the footage, pausing on the exact moment their fingers interlocked, analyzing every look, every breath. Online forums buzzed with debates. Was this a personal revelation, a professional announcement, or something far bigger than either? Thing was certain, this was more than a headline. This was a rare, unscripted glimpse into the human side of two people who had spent years being defined by the characters they played and the images others projected onto them. Tonight, they defined themselves. And for that, whether one agreed with their statement or not, they had earned a level of respect that cannot be manufactured by any publicist. For us at Red Carpet Revealed, covering this moment was more than just reporting, it was witnessing history in the making. We felt the same lump in our throats as you did when Yoona's voice cracked. We noticed the tremble in Lee Jun-ho's jaw as he fought to hold back tears. And we, like you, recognized that their handhold was more than a gesture, it was a vow. A promise to face whatever storms may come without letting go. You've made it this far into the story. We want to say thank you. Thank you for trusting us to bring you not just the news, but the heartbeat behind it. Your loyalty as a reader is what allows us to keep uncovering the stories that matter. The ones that go beyond gossip and reach into the raw, filtered emotions that connect us all. We'd love for you to stay with us as this story unfolds. The coming days will no doubt bring more revelations, more reactions, and perhaps even more moments that will redefine what we thought we knew about Yoona and Lee Jun-ho. To make sure you don't miss any of it, I invite you to subscribe to Red Carpet Revealed. It's free, it's instant, and it guarantees you'll be the first to know when the next chapter in this extraordinary story breaks. And now, we turn the conversation over to you. What was going through your mind as you watched that press conference? Did you see courage, vulnerability, defiance, or perhaps all three? Do you believe their statement will unite their fans or divide public opinion? We want to hear your thoughts, your emotions, your perspective. Drop your comments below and join the thousands already sharing their reactions. Engage with fellow readers. Challenge each other. Or simply share how this moment touched you. Voice adds depth to the story. And every opinion matters here. From all of us at Red Carpet Revealed. Thank you again for reading, for caring, and for being part of a community that sees beyond the spotlight to the people who live within it. Until the next big moment, keep your eyes open, your heart ready, and your seatbelt fastened. Through the world of entertainment is never dull, and together, we'll be there for every twist, every tear, and every triumph.